Senator Stabenow.
Well, good morning. And first, Mr. Chairman, you look great sitting there. And welcome to the committee as our chairman. I know you and our ranking member are going to do great work leading us. It's my great pleasure to introduce Andrew Liveris. I said before, I corrected it, Ron, is Andrew Liveris, who is the CEO of Dow Chemical Company. I think that doesn't really describe what Dow is about, though, because under Mr. Liveris' leadership, Dow has really become an energy and advanced manufacturing leader in the country. And so I'm very pleased that you're here and in this very important discussion. Mr. Liveris came to Dow in Australia in 1976 and moved up as president of Asian Pacific Operations to be chairman in 2006. And he has a very deep knowledge of the importance of natural gas as a source of energy in manufacturing, as well as chemical feedstock to make so many of the products that we use every day. He also serves on the President's Export Council and a number of other positions. And so welcome. It's wonderful to have you with us. We are very proud to have you located in Michigan and touching so many important areas of innovation for the future.
Thank you, Senator Stabenow. Mr. Liveris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Senator Murkowski, distinguished members of the committee, Senator Stabenow, thank you for that great introduction. I'm Andrew Liveris now, and that can go on the public record. Thank you for inviting me here to celebrate our democracy. The intersection of government, business, and civil society practiced in this chamber under your leadership, your collective leadership, is something an individual like me as a foreigner living in this great country does not take lightly. Thank you very much for inviting us to talk about this important conversation. As already stated, it has the promise of tapping this vast new natural gas resource and coming up with a better answer. This is being called the shale gale. It's afforded America a new competitive advantage, advantages which we are now becoming quite familiar with, but it does pose us with these challenges, and I believe our democracy can rise to the better answer by having these conversations. How much of this natural bounty should we export? I'm here because the answer is neither simple nor just obvious. It actually isn't either binary. It's not binary to talk about an either-or proposition here. It's not binary to talk about for or against free trade. As you know, the shale gale has only fueled the increases in natural gas production, not only done that, but it's provided this manufacturing renaissance. For companies like Dow, the compounds that make up natural gas, as already stated by Senator Stabenow, are the feedstocks for vital manufacturing processes that create value across the entire economy. We use them as the first indispensable ingredient for everything that is made and consumed in this country. So when natural gas is not sold just as an export, when it's used instead as a building block for these manufactured goods, it creates 8 times more value across our entire economy. 8 times. In this way, America's natural gas bounty is more than a simple commodity. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity for America to export advanced products, not just BTUs. It's a unique opportunity to make America's economy stronger, more balanced, more sustainable. This is not to say that America ought to keep all of this gas onshore. Not at all. Exports are part of America's economy. It's one of the lifebloods of America's economy and the world's economy. The U.S. should lead in both the sale and shipment of the raw material and the finished goods. But the fact is, if we shipped half or more of this bounty overseas today, as some propose, it'll have severe unintended consequences on the manufacturing and the sector inside the United States on prices. Not just domestic companies, because we're going to have to compete with whatever's left over, not just the effect on us. It would actually mean higher gas and electricity prices. It'll mean actually higher transportation utility costs for consumers as well as industry. These higher and more volatile energy prices would also cause domestic manufacturers to once again to ship operations and ship jobs overseas, to ship factories overseas to countries where natural gas is cheaper. And there are countries where natural gas is cheaper. America would sacrifice this once-in-a-generation competitive advantage because gas is not an openly traded commodity. It is not, and therefore does not have a world price. European and Asian natural gas prices are actually indexed directly to oil price, which makes them up to 5 times more expensive than in the United States. So it's very easy to see why other nations want our gas. They want to lower their prices. What's harder to see is why would we be willing to do that at such a potentially severe cost to the American consumer and the American industry. Globally, we need to continue our progression to rules-based free trade, especially for gas. And domestically, we need to choose a more prudent, responsible, balanced approach, and all of the above approach. This is now, in our view, a pressing issue. As you're aware, the Natural Gas Act requires the Department of Energy to weigh the public interest in evaluating applications to export liquefied natural gas. Today, they are considering 12 such applications. Applications that, taken together, will permit exports equal to half of today's U.S. production. In effect, exporting our competitive advantage away and importing the world oil price for our domestic sector. Our view is that DOE should thoroughly examine each and every one of these applications to see what it is on its merits. And regulators should consider a full array of criteria, should weigh the impact on everything from food prices to home heating bills to jobs and job creation. Let me be particularly clear. We're not asking rulemakers to ignore the interests of any stakeholder. To the contrary, we believe that everyone affected by DOE's decisions should be part and have a voice in informing these choices. If we make these decisions cautiously and incrementally, if we measure the effects of our decisions and adjust our actions accordingly, then we can achieve not just a win-win, but a quadruple win. And believe you me, I rarely see a quadruple win, rarely in the world of business. Firstly, energy producers can win. Energy producers can win, like those in Alaska, because they can explore and export more. Secondly, manufacturers win, because they, in fact, access these fuel and feedstocks at stable, not volatile prices set by some world oil cartel. Thirdly, the American people win. They win because they will see not just see the huge spikes in utility bills and home heating bills like we did a decade ago, but they actually will see lower costs and create more jobs for the American consumer. And lastly, the U.S. economy wins. The U.S. economy wins because it will become advantaged and competitive, better balanced, better insulated from price shocks and volatility, more resilient and more robust. So the question in front of us, can we do all this and act in the public interest? This year is only the 4th or 5th year of a 100-year advantage. We have the time. Let's take the time. Let's get this intersection right. Let's manage this with prudence and caution in the public interest. Let's do it in the interest of American workers, American consumers, American industry, American producers. Let's put America first. We should all share that goal. I thank you for the opportunity to discuss it.
Very, very good. America first. Sums it up.